Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is another book club video where I'm reviewing the books that I have been reading recently. And if you're new here, my name is Alexis and I am a PhD student living in Oahu, Hawaii. And today we're diving into the Ruby Red trilogy, which was originally written in German by Kerstin Gier. I'm not sure if I'm messing that up. But it's a magical time travel series that is full of romance, mystery, and plenty of humor. So if you're a fan of YA fantasy or historical fiction, then this book might be for you. So these are books 2 and 3, Sapphire Blue and Emerald Green. The first is Ruby Red, but I actually don't have it with me because I gave it to my sister the last time I saw her because I really wanted her to read it. I thought she would enjoy it. So yeah, that's why I only have 2 out of the 3 books with me today. So this trilogy is very special to me because it is actually my wife's favorite book series that she read as a kid. And she actually gifted me the first book, Ruby Red, I think for Christmas. So I read it and of course fell in love with it as soon as I started reading it. I think I was like glued to the couch, eyes glued to the pages, just wanting to know what happened next. And I love this first book so much that she gave me these other 2, Sapphire Blue and Emerald Green, right after because I just wanted to keep reading. So that is why I wanted to share this book review with you, because maybe you might also like it if you haven't heard of it yet. So what is the Ruby Red trilogy all about? So the story follows Gwyneth Shepherd, an ordinary teenager that just discovers that she has this rare inherited time traveler gene. So suddenly she's thrown into this secret society with centuries-old traditions, cryptic prophecies, and a really annoying but kind of charming time travel partner named Gideon. So the trilogy's books, Ruby Red, Sapphire Blue, and Emerald Green, take you on a whirlwind of a journey as Gwyneth is trying to find out the secrets of her lineage and also navigating this new romantic relationship along the way. So at its core, this trilogy explores themes of identity, trust, and destiny. So Gwyneth's journey is as much as self-discovery as it is about finding out the secrets and the mysteries that her family are holding. And I love how these books weave together adventure, romance, but also humor, which helps keep things very engaging. So let's get into the characters real quick. So who is Ruby Red? Ruby Red is Gwyneth, and Gwyneth is the main character, the protagonist. She's very funny, very witty, resourceful, and pretty likable, pretty relatable. Gideon, on the other hand, her travel partner, is kind of a mixed bag. In the beginning, he's more annoying and like overly self-confident, kind of full of himself. And then towards the end, his like character develops and you start understanding him a little bit better and why he's doing the things that he's doing. And I think he becomes a little bit more likable as the story goes on. And I think that's why he kind of grew on me as I kept reading. Then this trilogy also has amazing side characters. The first being Gwyneth's best friend, Leslie, who's just an absolute gem of a character. And the second is her time travel buddy, Eximerius. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But he is a sarcastic gargoyle demon that she meets in the time travel world and becomes buddies with. And yeah, he's just really funny and provides great comic relief. So those are the main characters. Now, as for the plot, I think the time travel concept is handled beautifully. Every trip to the past feels very real. It feels historic, and they're getting all of the details right. That being said, with the time travel and all of the other characters in the secret society and the prophecies, it can feel a little bit confusing or convoluted at times, but I think if you're willing to embrace this chaos in the beginning and keep reading, working through it, making connections, figuring things out as the story develops, then it's a very great read. Very interesting, and really just kept me wanting to read more, to make sense of this mystery, the prophecies, all of the secrets that the families are holding. And the writing style is very easy to read, very simple, lighthearted, playful. And keep in mind, this is also written for a younger audience. It's a YA book, so it's very easy to read for the normal adult, I think. And there's a lot of humor, a lot of comic relief, so it never feels too heavy, even in like serious situations. And she really does a great job of like bringing the characters to life, not only the protagonist and Gideon, but also, as I mentioned, like the best friend and Eximerius and some of the other characters that are involved. So I think my favorite part of this whole trilogy had to be Gwyneth's personality and just the humor that is used throughout this trilogy. Gwyneth's like internal monologue, but also her little chats with Leslie, her best friend, and Eximerius, who is a ghost. So she's having this like dialogue in the middle of everything with a ghost, which is just funny in itself. And yeah, all of this kind of made me like laugh and chuckle to myself as I was reading. And I think some of my least favorite aspects of this book was probably that there's many characters, because there's a whole lineage of time travelers to keep track of, different characters in the society that are important, and then tying them back from like who they are in the present and who they are in the past or like future is a little hard to keep track of, especially if you're not reading the 3 books all in one go. Like I kind of picked them up, stopped, or like read another book, kept reading. So that can make it a little harder to keep track of all of these different characters. And it's also kind of a mystery, so it's meant to be a little confusing in the beginning, but you kind of get the hang of things and piece everything together in the end. And I think this book does a nice job of like introducing all of the mysteries and different components of the puzzle in the very first book, developing it and developing the characters in the second book, and then kind of nicely tying everything up in the end, making everything make sense, so when you finish it, you're like, I finally get it, and it's a really good feeling. It feels like the mystery is solved, the puzzle is done, and you can kind of just like rest and be happy with the way the story ended. But there are many cliffhangers in the first book and in the second book, so that was a little bit annoying too, but also kept me want to just keep reading the next books. So since I don't typically read this genre or fiction in general, I don't think I can recommend any similar books that you might like if you like Ruby Red. However, I can compare it to some movies and TV shows that I think have similar vibes. For example, I think it's pretty similar to like Inception, the movie, which is also about like time travel and dream travel. Also very confusing at times and hard to keep track of what's real and what's not. So yeah, I think if you like Inception, you might like that. Additionally, I think it kind of reminded me of Umbrella Academy, the Netflix series, especially with the secretive family dynamic that there is in Umbrella Academy. I think it's pretty similar to this Ruby Red trilogy, because it's not just Gwyneth who's the time traveler, it's like 2 families and like their whole lineage that are involved. Umbrella Academy also has a few time traveling scenes or elements, so that's why I think it kind of reminded me of the Ruby Red trilogy. So if you enjoyed Inception or Umbrella Academy, then I think Ruby Red could be a good pick for a trilogy to read that is a little bit less serious, meant for a younger audience, but still has that like mystery, time travel, sense of adventure to it. So yeah, as I said, I think you might like this book if you're interested in time travel, historical fiction, dark thrillers, or mysteries. Then this book is probably for you. And yeah, it's aimed at a younger audience, hence why this is Mishi's favorite childhood series. But reading it as an adult, I thought it was still very entertaining. I really loved it. And reading some of the romance parts felt a little bit more cutesy and lighthearted charm to it. So I really loved reading this book. I thought it was a great read. Every time I picked it up, I felt like I was also stepping into this time machine with them, going back to the past. I felt like I was just in it. Every time I read it and opened the book, I just kind of forgot that I wasn't in the book, in that movie or scene going on. I just kind of, I don't know, I got so wrapped in it. That's how engaging and fun it was to read. And I think the mix of history, adventure, romance, mystery is really what kept me just wanting to keep reading it, to find out how it ends. That's mostly what I wanted to know. So overall, I would give this Ruby Red trilogy a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's an excellent read for kids and young adults, as well as normal adults or 20-year-olds, because it's just very entertaining, heartfelt, humorous, and also has a little bit of magic in it with the time travel aspect. So what did you guys think? Have you read the Ruby Rose trilogy? If not, does it sound like something that you'd enjoy? Let me know down in the comments. And also, if you have any other book recommendations that might be similar to this Ruby Red time traveling trilogy. Please give this video a big like if you enjoyed it. I would really appreciate that. And also subscribe to not miss any more book reviews of all of the books that I've been reading this year. And happy reading and happy holidays. Enjoy the rest of this Vlogmas.